Welcome to the ultimate military showdown between two powerful nations, America and Iran. It's the clash of titans, the eagle versus the lion. In this video, we'll dive deep into their military capabilities and see how they stack up against each other. We'll look at the troops on the ground, the planes in the air, the ships in the water, and the nukes hidden away. This is about understanding the real deal, man. No BS. So buckle up, because things are about to get intense. First up, let's talk about manpower. Manpower is a critical component in any military strategy, and it can often be the deciding factor in conflicts. The US has over 1.3 million active personnel and another 800,000 in reserves. This massive force is well-trained and well-equipped, making it one of the most formidable military powers in the world. Iran, on the other hand, has around 525,000 active military personnel. While this number is significantly smaller than that of the US, it is still a substantial force. Iran also has the Basij, a massive paramilitary force that can swell their ranks by hundreds of thousands. The Basij is a volunteer-based force that can be mobilized quickly in times of need, adding a layer of unpredictability to Iran's military capabilities. So, in a straight-up numbers game, the US has the edge. With a larger active force and substantial reserves, the US can project power on a global scale. But Iran's got this wild card, this potential surge of manpower that could really change the game. The ability to rapidly increase their numbers gives Iran a strategic advantage in certain scenarios. Training and experience, that's huge. The quality of the troops can often outweigh sheer numbers. The US military, they're constantly engaged in operations around the world. From peacekeeping missions to combat operations, US troops gain invaluable experience that enhances their effectiveness. Iran, they've got their own experience, especially in the Persian Gulf region. Their familiarity with the local terrain and conditions gives them a significant advantage in regional conflicts. They know how to operate in those deserts, those mountains, those tight waterways. This local expertise can be a game changer in any conflict within their borders. So, while the US might have the edge in numbers and global experience, Iran's got that home field advantage and a potential wild card up their sleeve. The dynamics of manpower and military strategy are complex, and both nations bring unique strengths to the table. Understanding these nuances is crucial for any comprehensive analysis of their military capabilities. Alright, let's talk money. Wars are expensive, man. The US spends over $778 billion a year on defense. That's more than the next 10 countries combined. Iran's defense budget is around $25 billion a year. They focus on developing specific capabilities like ballistic missiles and drone technology. Plus, they've got a network of proxies and allies in the region. So, yeah, the US has the clear advantage in terms of raw economic power. But Iran, they're playing a game of chess, man. It's like David and Goliath, except David's got a few tricks up his sleeve. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty, man, the ground game. This is where the rubber meets the road, where the real action happens. The US has over 6,000 M1 Abrams tanks, some of the most advanced battle tanks on the planet. These beasts are equipped with state-of-the-art technology, including advanced armor and powerful weaponry, making them formidable on any battlefield. Iran has around 2,000 tanks, mostly older Soviet-era models, but they've been upgrading and modernizing them. These upgrades include improved armor and weapon systems, making them more competitive despite their age. Iran uses asymmetric warfare, hit-and-run tactics, ambushes, and urban warfare to level the playing field. They excel in guerrilla tactics, making it difficult for conventional forces to predict their moves. They've got vast underground facilities, tunnels, and bunkers for surprise attacks. These hidden networks allow them to launch unexpected offensives and retreat quickly, keeping their adversaries on their toes. So, while the US might have the technological edge in a tank battle, Iran's got the home field advantage and a whole lot of grit. Their familiarity with the terrain and their unconventional tactics can pose significant challenges to even the most advanced military forces. It's like a street fight versus a boxing match. The structured, rule-bound boxer might have the technique, but the street fighter brings unpredictability and raw determination. The street fighter might not have the same technique, but they're scrappy, they're unpredictable. They use whatever's at their disposal to gain an advantage, making them a tough opponent. And they're not afraid to get their hands dirty. In the end, it's not just about the equipment or the numbers. It's about the will to fight and the strategies employed on the ground. Chapter 4. Dogfight, Air Power. When it comes to air power, the US is in a league of its own. We're talking about the F-35 Lightning II, the F-22 Raptor, the B-2 Spirit bomber. Iran has a smaller and older air force with Russian-made MiG and Sukhoi fighters, but Iran has been investing heavily in drone technology. They've got swarms of armed drones for reconnaissance, surveillance, and attack, and they're constantly developing new and more advanced drones. So while the US might dominate the skies in a traditional dogfight, Iran's drone program is a game changer. It's like a swarm of bees against a hawk. The hawk might be bigger and stronger, but those bees can be a real nuisance. Chapter 5. Full steam ahead, naval power. In this chapter we delve into the might and strategy of naval forces, focusing on the contrasting approaches of the US Navy and the Iranian Navy. The US Navy, they're the undisputed heavyweight champions of the world. With a legacy of dominance and technological superiority, they have set the standard for naval power. We're talking about 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers. These colossal vessels are the backbone of the US Navy's global reach and influence. Each one of those carriers is like a floating city, packed with fighter jets, helicopters, and enough firepower to level a small country. They are self-sustaining fortresses, capable of projecting power anywhere in the world. On the other hand, Iran's navy is mostly focused on coastal defense, with smaller warships, submarines, and fast attack boats. Their strategy is not about global dominance but about protecting their own waters. The Persian Gulf is a narrow body of water full of choke points and islands. This geography plays a crucial role in naval strategy, especially for Iran. Iran's strategy is to use that to their advantage, to create a kind of home field advantage. They leverage the complex terrain to offset the technological superiority of larger navies. They've got swarms of small boats armed with missiles and torpedoes. These fast attack boats can be a formidable threat in the confined waters of the Gulf. So, while the US Navy might rule the waves on the open ocean, the Persian Gulf is a different story. The open ocean allows for the full deployment of their capabilities, but the Gulf's narrow confines present unique challenges. It's like a shark trying to fight in a bathtub. The US Navy's overwhelming power is constrained by the geography, making the Persian Gulf a complex and contested arena. Throughout history, naval power has been a decisive factor in conflicts. Modern navies continue to evolve, adapting to new technologies and strategies to maintain their edge. Both the US and Iranian navies conduct regular training exercises to hone their skills and prepare for potential conflicts. These drills are crucial for maintaining readiness and effectiveness. The strategic placement of naval bases around the world allows the US Navy to respond quickly to emerging threats. Iran, meanwhile, focuses on fortifying its coastal defenses and maintaining control over the Persian Gulf. As technology continues to advance, the future of naval warfare will see even more sophisticated ships, weapons, and tactics. Both nations are investing heavily in innovation to stay ahead in this ever-evolving domain. In the end, the contrast between the US Navy and the Iranian Navy highlights the diverse approaches to naval power. One seeks global dominance, while the other focuses on regional control and asymmetric tactics. The seas remain a vast and unpredictable theater of conflict and cooperation. As we move forward, the balance of naval power will continue to shape the geopolitical landscape. Chapter 6. The Nuclear Option. Alright folks, now we're getting to the really scary stuff. The US has a massive nuclear arsenal, thousands of warheads. Iran doesn't officially have nuclear weapons. They've always maintained that their nuclear program is for peaceful purposes. But the international community is skeptical. They've been caught enriching uranium to levels close to weapons grade. Now, nobody wants to see a nuclear war. But the fact that these weapons exist adds a whole other layer of complexity and danger. It's like two guys in a bar fight, but they've both got guns under the table. Chapter 7. Tech War Military Technology. The US is like the Silicon Valley of the military-industrial complex. They're constantly pumping out new and more advanced weapons systems, from hypersonic missiles to laser weapons to autonomous drones. Iran can't really compete with the US in terms of raw technological firepower, but they're no slouches either. They've been developing their own indigenous military technologies, focusing on areas like ballistic missiles, cyber warfare, and electronic warfare. So, while the US might have the overall technological edge, Iran is a wild card. It's like a tech startup going up against a tech giant. Okay, let's talk logistics, man. Wars aren't just about who's got the biggest guns or the fastest planes. The US has a massive global logistics network. They've got bases all over the world, a huge fleet of cargo planes and ships. Iran, they're at a disadvantage here. They don't have the same kind of global reach or logistical infrastructure, but they're fighting on their own turf. They know the terrain, they've got established supply lines. So, while the US might have the logistical advantage on paper, Iran's got the home field advantage. It's like a marathon runner versus a sprinter. Let's talk geography, man. Iran is in a strategically vital region. They've got the Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz, and tough terrain. The US has to project power from thousands of miles away. Iran knows how to use that to their advantage. Geography is definitely a factor here. Alright, let's talk alliances, man. The US has NATO, Japan, South Korea, and a network of allies. Iran has a network of proxies and partners like Hezbollah and the Houthis. These groups aren't under Iran's direct control but are aligned with their interests. So, in a straight-up fight, the US and its allies would have the upper hand. But Iran's network of proxies could make things a lot messier. Thanks for watching this intense comparison between America and Iran's military might. It's a complex situation, man, with no easy answers. Both countries have their strengths and weaknesses. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more exciting content. Let us know in the comments which country you think has the upper hand.